In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. This is the marketing slogan of the 41st millennium, and for the vast majority of sentient life, it is a statement of absolute misery. Consider the average life in the galaxy. An imperial citizen works 18-hour shifts in a toxic factory to build a toaster he is not allowed to own. An Eldar spends his entire immortality weeping over broken pottery and terrified that if he relaxes for 1 second, a chaotic god will eat his soul. The Necrons are cranky because they woke up from a 60-million-year nap and realized they still have arthritis. And the Tyranids are just constantly, relentlessly hungry, which anyone who has ever missed lunch knows is a terrible state of being. Everyone is depressed. Everyone is anxious. Everyone is suffering, except for the Orks. If you look past the brutality, the shouting, and the alarming amount of fungal spores, you realize a terrifying truth. The Orks are having a fantastic time. They are the only civilization in history to achieve a 100% job satisfaction rate. They are living in a utopia. This document will prove, using rigorous sociological analysis, that while we judge the Orks for being barbaric monsters, they have actually solved every single economic, social, and mental health crisis that plagues the Imperium.
Let us begin with the root of all anxiety: money. The imperial economy is a nightmare of hyperinflation, planetary tithes, and throne gelt that fluctuates based on whether the High Lords of Terra had a good breakfast. A man can save for 50 years and lose it all because a warp storm delayed a shipment of grain. The Ork economy is robust, recession-proof, and arguably brilliant. Their currency is Teef, literally teeth. It is worth noting for the record that orc teeth grow continuously, much like sharks or the paperwork on a bureaucrat's desk. An orc knocks out a tooth, buys a gun, and grows a new tooth by next Tuesday. This creates a biological universal basic income. No orc is ever truly poor as long as he has a mouth. Consider the genius of this system. It prevents the hoarding of wealth. In our society, billionaires hoard trillions while others starve. In Ork society, you cannot be a billionaire. Why? Because teeth rot. If an Ork war boss tries to stash millions of teeth in a vault to manipulate the market, he will wake up 6 months later with a pile of calcium dust and a very valuable lesson in depreciation. This forces the currency to circulate. Orks must spend their money immediately, usually on loud guns or faster trucks, which stimulates the manufacturing sector and keeps the GDP, gross Daka product, extremely high. There is a famous fable recorded by the Magi of the Ordo Xenos about a bad moon's orc named Gold-Tooth Gitrippa. Unlike his peers, Gold-Tooth tried to introduce complex banking to his Waaagh. He set up a bank of Gork, offering low-interest loans on chappas and promising to keep everyone's teeth safe in a metal box. The experiment lasted exactly 40 minutes. It ended when a customer realized that instead of filling out a withdrawal slip, he could simply punch the bank manager in the face. This transaction was instantaneous, fee-free, and considered legally binding by everyone present. Gold-Tooth was not mourned, but his teeth were redistributed to the community in record time. It was the most efficient stimulus package in galactic history. Beyond economics, the Orks have solved the crisis of purpose. In the Imperium, you might dream of being a painter, but the Departamento Munitorum assigns you to be Human Shield number 44209. This creates existential angst. In Orc society, you are what you do. If you like driving fast, you are a speed freak. If you like setting things on fire, you are a burn-a-boy. If you like stealing things that are not nailed down, you are a death skull. If you like shouting and being bigger than everyone else, you are management. There is no nepotism. An Orc war boss cannot give his idiot son a high-ranking position in the army. If the son is smaller and weaker than the other Orcs, he will immediately be demoted to lunch. I should clarify that this is not a metaphor. The social mobility in Orc society is entirely vertical. You move up by getting bigger, and you move down by getting crumped. It is brutal, yes, but you never have to worry about office politics or whether your boss likes your PowerPoint presentation. You only have to worry about whether your boss is currently swinging a power claw at your head. And frankly, that kind of clarity is refreshing. Think about the psychological benefits. An Orc never suffers from imposter syndrome. He never lies awake at night wondering if he is truly good enough for his job. If he wasn't good enough, he would be dead. The fact that he is breathing is proof of his competence. And unlike humans, Orcs do not retire. They do not wither away in nursing homes, staring at the wall. They fight until they die, usually in a massive explosion, laughing all the way to oblivion. It is a life lived at full volume, without regret, without fear, and without ever having to file a tax return. We call them savages, but look at them. Look at a boys' mob charging a titan, screaming "Waaagh!" with pure, unadulterated joy. Can any of us claim to love anything as much as an Orc loves violence? I think not. Historians often debate the biological function of the Waaagh energy. Some call it a psychic field, others call it magic. But the leading theory among the more cynical adepts is that the Waaagh is simply the collective manifestation of the placebo effect weaponized on a galactic scale. If 1,000,000 Orcs believe a red truck goes faster, the universe simply gives up arguing physics and lets the truck go faster. They are the only species that can bully reality into submission through sheer self-confidence. Let us move to a subject that keeps the governors of the Imperium awake at night: public health. In the hives of man, obtaining medical treatment is a quest of mythical difficulty. If you break your leg in a manufactorium, you must fill out Form 44B, Request for Cessation of Bleeding. Wait in a queue for 6 months behind a man coughing the plague of Nurgle into your face and pray that the Medicaid has not replaced his painkillers with recycled corpse starch to save budget. The Orcs have solved this. Their healthcare system is universal, free, and incredibly fast. It is administered by the Pain Boy, a medical professional whose qualifications usually consist of owning a very large staple gun and an apron that was once white. Ideally, a doctor operates with a scalpel and anesthesia. A pain boy operates with a rusty saw and a heavy mallet. The mallet serves as the anesthesia. This is considered a robust and effective method of sedation, as it has a 100% success rate in stopping the patient from complaining. But consider the results. An Orc can have his arm blown off by a bolter shell. In the Imperium, this is a career-ending injury. For an Orc, it is an upgrade opportunity. He visits the pain boy, who rummages through a bucket of spare parts, finds a mechanical claw, a chainsaw, or perhaps just another arm from a larger Orc who isn't using it anymore, and staples it on. The Orc leaves the clinic 10 minutes later, flexes his new chainsaw arm, and realizes he is now 20% deadlier. He is happy. The pain boy is happy because he got to use his stapler. The society benefits from increased lethality. It is a virtuous cycle of biomechanical recycling. There is a documented case of a war boss named Grimjaw who was decapitated by a Space Marine dreadnought. This is typically fatal. However, his local pain boy, Doc Grotznick, simply picked up the head, found a larger, stronger body that had also been decapitated nearby, and sewed them together using fishing line and squig juice. Grimjaw woke up, realized he was now 3 feet taller and 50 pounds heavier, and immediately gave the doc a promotion. There was no rejection of the graft. There was no psychological trauma about body dysmorphia. Grimjaw simply looked in a mirror, flexed his biceps, and said, "This one is better." This level of self-acceptance is something modern psychology can only dream of. Orc biology is a miracle, or technology is a direct insult to the laws of the universe. The Adeptus Mechanicus spends 10,000 years praying to a toaster to make it brown the bread correctly. They are terrified of innovation. They believe if you plug in a USB drive upside down, the machine god will smite you. The Orc mech boy has no such fear. He possesses an instinctive genetic understanding of how to build machines, unburdened by pesky things like safety, mathematics, or sanity. An Orc mech boy looks at a pile of scrap metal, a rubber band, and a fusion reactor, and thinks, "I can make this fly." And the terrifying thing is, he does. It is important to visualize the interior of an Orc truck. If an Imperial engineer opened the hood, he would likely have a stroke. There are no fuel lines connected to the engine. The steering wheel is often glued to the dashboard for decorative purposes. The red button creates a boost not because of chemical injection, but because every Orc genetically believes that red ones go faster. This brings us to the Waaagh field theory. Humans and Eldar are constrained by the laws of physics. Gravity is a law, friction is a law, thermodynamics is a harsh mistress. Orcs treat physics not as laws, but as loose guidelines that can be ignored if you shout loud enough. If an Orc gun jams, he does not strip it down and clean it. He assumes he just isn't believing hard enough. He screams, "Daka, Daka, Daka!" and the gun, seemingly intimidated by his conviction, begins firing again. During the siege of Vrax, a Lehman Russ tank commander reported being chased by an Orc battle wagon for 30 miles. The battle wagon was fast, loud, and bristling with guns. After the Imperials finally destroyed it with a las cannon, the tech priests examined the wreckage. They found that the battle wagon had no engine. It had no fuel tank. It was literally a hollow metal box on wheels. The tech priests concluded that the only reason it moved was that the driver, an Orc named Speedy, was making loud engine noises with his mouth, "Room, room," and the other Orcs on board believed him. The battle wagon stopped moving the moment Speedy died, not because of mechanical failure, but because the sound effect stopped. Think of the efficiency. No fuel costs, no carbon emissions, just pure, unadulterated willpower. The Orcs have achieved the greenest energy policy in the galaxy, fueled entirely by delusion and enthusiasm. When we look at our own technology, devices that break if dropped, batteries that die in hours, printers that jam when they smell fear, we must ask ourselves, who is really the advanced species? The race that needs a manual to operate a microwave, or the race that can make a pile of garbage fly into space simply because they are really, really excited about going to the moon? I believe the answer is clear. Finally, let us address the most critical aspect of mental health, job satisfaction. For every other race in the galaxy, war is a trauma. For the Eldar, it is a tragedy of dwindling numbers. For the Tau, it is a regrettable necessity for expansion. For the Imperial Guard, it is a nightmare of mud, blood, and being yelled at by a man with a very silly hat. For the Orcs, war is not trauma,
It is the weekend. It is a pub brawl on a galactic scale. It is their football, their cinema, and their church all rolled into one screaming, shooting package. I should note here that orcs do not suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. They suffer from pre-traumatic stress disorder, the anxiety that the fight might end too quickly. An orc looks at a tyrannid hive tyrant not with fear, but with the excitement of a dog seeing a very large stick. Consider the legend of warlord Tuska Daemonkiller. This was an orc who looked at the Eye of Terror, a literal tear in reality leading to hell, and thought, that looks like a laugh. He invaded the warp. He didn't want to conquer it. He just wanted to find the biggest demons and punch them. Eventually, he landed on a planet belonging to Khorne, the god of blood. Tuska fought so hard and died so hilariously that Khorne decided to keep him. Now, every morning, Tuska and his boys are resurrected. They fight demons all day. They die gloriously. And the next morning, they do it again. To a human, this is an eternal hell of suffering. To Tuska, this is heaven. It is an all-you-can-fight buffet that never closes. He has achieved the ultimate dream, sustainable, renewable violence. In short, to be an orc is to be unburdened by the weaknesses of the advanced races, self-doubt, fear, and the foolish belief that death is the end. They achieve perfect happiness by simply being exactly what they were designed to be: loud, violent, and too delighted to fail.
And so we reach the terrifying conclusion of our study. We look at the Warhammer 40,000 universe and we see a tragedy. We see a decaying Imperium, dying stars, and laughing gods. We call it grimdark. But the orcs? They look at the exact same universe and see a comedy, a slapstick farce of explosions and noise. We pity them for being mindless beasts, but perhaps we are the fools. While humanity has spent 10,000 years creating a bureaucracy that grinds the soul into dust, the orcs have been spending that time perfecting the art of driving fast and screaming. The uncomfortable truth is this: the galaxy does not belong to the Imperium. It does not belong to chaos. It was made for the orcs. Everyone else is just living in their theme park. We are the grumpy neighbors complaining about the noise, while they are the ones throwing the party of the millennium. So the next time you see a green tide descending upon your world, do not weep for them. Weep for yourself, because they are the only ones in this God-forsaken galaxy who are genuinely having a nice day. End recording. Filed under Sociology, Depressing Realizations. Cross-reference, Ignorance is Bliss and Highly Explosive.